What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Friday. We are going to be building a pretty unique computer today. This does not happen very often, but we have a spectacular theme for our build, and you're going to know exactly what it is when, hey, Jake, what happened to that lower third? When I put the lower third up. Click 9. There it is. Oh, yeah. Sponsored by Gigabyte, we are doing the all orange and black PC. Yes, my friends, that is the theme today. Look at all the boxes for these components. Brandon, you're up. We've got an orange and black mouse pad box. We've got an orange and black liquid cooler box. Orange and black graphics card box. We got an orange and black motherboard box. We got an orange and black mouse box. Orange and black RAM box. Orange and black SSD. Orange and black keyboard. Orange and black power supply. And these two boxes are brown, yes. But I assure you that on the inside, they are orange and black. The actual theme today is this is the All-AORUS machine. So Gigabyte's gaming brand, AORUS, has pretty much every component of your PC covered now, with the one exception being this. The 10th gen Intel Core i9 CPU that is going to be at the heart of our machine today. As you can tell, I am broadcasting from the studio. I am so glad to be coming to you guys from the studio. I am so tired of shooting things at home, but I have been completely cough-free, symptom-free for 2 weeks, and I just want to come hang out with my tech bros here at work. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Why don't we get started right off the hop here? I actually don't really have any particular talking points from Gigabyte, so I guess I just build the computer, right? All right, cool, let's do it. I've got my chats open, got my float plane, my Twitch, and oh, whoa, ho, ho, ho. That was almost awesome. I still had my mouse over there. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, okay. I just learned something about my XPS 13 2-in-1. This is fascinating. This is very interesting. So when I lift it up by this corner, you see that? It clicks the mouse pad. See that? So I almost ended the stream because my mouse is still over the end stream button. We're not going to be doing that today, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we will, but later. So I'm going to put this, I'm gonna put the case away for now. And I'm going to put this safely over here where I can monitor all your wonderful, wonderful chat messages that you guys are sending over. So why don't we start? Brandon, you're probably going to have to reposition at some point to get a better angle on the motherboard here. Yeah, you got a lot of zoom on that lens, don't you? Is that...
There's a giveaway lens.
There's a giveaway? What?
G32QC.
What is a G32QC? Help me out here.
It's a gaming monitor, 32-inch.
Oh, it's this one. Oh, cool. 32-inch gaming monitor. Apparently we're giving one of these away. How do they enter? In the video description. 165 hertz, it's curved. Sick. I mean, we're going to try it out later, so I'll let you guys know if it's any good. But I mean, hey, the price is right. No matter, it's probably good. Price is right. Price is right. So we got that giveaway. Check that out in the video description. Just a reminder, you know, for that FCC disclosure, this video is sponsored by Gigabyte, the All-AORUS build. Wow, that is a heavy-tastic motherboard. Holy crapsicles. You got your back plate here. Do you want to turn that monitor so Brandon can see which one I'm looking at? Otherwise, he's going to be all focused, and I'm not actually on his camera. So we've got a back plate there. We've got all the features that you'd expect out of Intel's 10th gen platform. So we've got a Z490 chipset. We've got, I'm going to pop back over to Brandon's camera here, support for dual channel memory, socket 1200 over here. That is a new socket, unfortunately. We are expecting to at least get a CPU upgrade on that socket, so that's something, I suppose. We've got a couple of M.2s over here. I actually don't know if there is a third one under here. It kind of looks like it. You know what? We're going to pop that heatsink off later and let you guys know how many M.2 slots we've got over here. This is a slightly... Oh, no, it's not. Oh, that's nice. Standard ATX board, 2 8-pin power connectors, and support for 3 16X cards installed at a time. Bear in mind, though, guys, that because this is on the consumer platform, those are not actually electrical 16x slots. So this is 16x, and then if you install one here, these will be 8x, 8x, and then this one right here is a 4x slot. You can tell by how it's wired up. Let's go ahead and get our CPU installed. I kind of want to put my... Someone want to start a rival to Gigabyte, Terabyte. That would be awesome. Gigabyte should just do that at some point. Like, you know how eventually pretty much every brand will kind of like go through and do like a reimagining of their brand or something like that? Like if Gigabyte was just like, you know what? Gigabyte used to seem like a lot, but it's just really not that much anymore. We got to step up our game, and they just completely rebrand the company to Terabyte. I would love it. And the best part is that unlike a lot of the naming schemes that we deal with these days, Intel, it just has such an obvious, place to go from there, right? Like you don't really run out. You go, okay, yeah. So in another 20 years, we're just going to rebrand to petabyte, then we'll go to exabyte, and then to I actually don't even know what's past exabyte. I'm sure the chat would be happy to let me know. Do you want to come in a little bit closer, Brandon? Get a bit of a better view of our install. Yottabyte. That's right. Thanks, Jake. This is actually my first time installing an LGA 1200 CPU. Here it is. We've got our Core i9 10900K. Try and get you guys a good angle there so we can read it. There we go. Anthony did the installs for our 10th gen CPU review. And that was pretty much exactly like an 11.5X CPU install. Yep, just got a few more pins in there. Very exciting. Yottabyte. What comes after Zeta? Zeta, then Yotta. Oh, other way around. Apparently it's Zettabyte, then Yottabyte, Jake.
I was just guessing.
You were guessing. All right, well. All right, I think we're good, right? Everything look good?
Yeah, just tweaking.
Jake's working on a pretty cool video. So there's like a big security, I don't know, what would you even call it? It's not really like a hack. It's like,
No, it's just an exploit.
like an exploit, yeah.
It's a 0-day exploit.
Yeah, basically,
Every new iPhone that runs the latest OS
yeah.
is compatible.
Every iPhone can be jailbroken. This is the first time in quite a while, isn't it?
Yeah, jailbreaks in the last few years have been kind of breezy.
So this was, and apparently it's like super easy.
Stable, easy,
Yeah.
clean, secure, supposedly.
So Jake's been working on a video about that because he was pretty into the whole jailbreaking scene a number of years ago, like back when it kind of made sense.
Like 12 years old.
Back when you were 12, yeah. So, man, that must have been like at least a year ago.
At least 8 years.
At least a year ago. All right, this is something I found a little bit surprising. Gigabyte makes system memory now. And it's funny because with a name like Gigabyte, you would have thought they'd have gotten into the storage game a long time ago. But no, nope. Gigabyte finally makes system memory. So this is their RGB. I believe it runs at 3600 megahertz. And what's the latency? Wait a minute. What am I even looking at here? Oh, interesting. I've heard of these before, but never actually used them. Check this out. See how many pins there are along the bottom of that module? Interesting, hey? All the pins are missing. So this is the ultimate memory kit for shallow people. I love it. So this package actually contains the memory. Here we go, let's pop this open. Oh, that seems to be kind of sealed shut. No, it's not. All right, cool. So this package actually contains the memory. So I'll double check my specs here. Yeah, these are 3600 megahertz, C18, 18, 19, 19, 39, 1.355. Yeah, yep, okay. So these should be a great fit for this CPU. And then the other ones are actually just placeholders so that our system will look ballin' and will have as much RGB as possible. Freaking fantastic. I know, right? Isn't that great? So let's go ahead and put the actual memory in. This is so cool. Gigabyte, good job. Okay, check this out. So all the slots are labeled. So you've got your A1, A2, B1, and B2. But then they helpfully just put it right here. First, A2 and B2. That's not very intuitive for a lot of new builders. Now, the general rule that you can follow on almost any motherboard is you populate spaced out by 1. So every other slot as far away from the CPU as you can go. So you start at the outside one, skip one, take the next one, skip one, take the next one. That's the general rule. I know I broke that rule on one of my previous PC building streams. That was not intentional. I do know that rule. But it's really nice for new builders who would have to otherwise consult the manual to just have those little helpful things just silk screened onto the motherboard in the first place, because why not? It doesn't cost you, by the time you're silk screening the PCB, it doesn't really cost you any extra to silk screen more stuff on it, which is why it's always confused me when motherboard manufacturers don't bother to do things like silk screen the labels. Here you go, the labels for the front panel connectors. In this case, Gigabyte has done that. So you can see right below all these panel connectors, you can see plus, minus for hard drive, power LED, power switch, reset switch, and all that good stuff. I absolutely love little creature comforts like that that make the building process easier and more enjoyable. All right, let's pull out an iFixit kit. I promised you guys I would find out how many M.2 slots this board has, and the easy way to do that would be to look at the box. But this is Linus Tech Tips. We don't take the easy path around here, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and undo this screw. We're going to go ahead and undo this other screw. And this one's labeled. So I'm expecting to find an M.2 110 millimeter slot here. So there's one. You can really see that Gigabyte optimized this board for storage here. You've only got the 3 PCI Express slots, but then you've got all these M.2 slots. So I'm imagining that I'm going to find a couple more. It's really nice to see that 110 millimeter M.2 as well. Oh, shoot, I didn't switch over to Brandon there. I should have. It's really nice to see that 110 millimeter compatibility, because I recently did a build, actually another one of these streams, where I was using an Intel Optane drive, and I didn't realize until, man, what point in the build did I get to? Quite a ways in. I was installing storage anyway, that my Optane drive wasn't going to fit because it was a 110 mil drive, and all of the slots on the board were 80 mil max. All right, I'm going to go ahead and have a look at what's under this heatsink here. Da, 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 da. Come on. Come on. There we go. Yep. 2 more down there. That is flippin' sick. So that's where all your PCI Express lanes are going, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Anthony, what's up?
Peel the RAM.
Peel the RAM?
That's what the chat is saying.
Oh no, I didn't peel the RAM. Okay, I'm sorry. I will peel the RAM in just a moment here. After I put away all these M.2 slots, because we're actually not using them, which is pretty funny to me.
I'm gonna go pull up a chair and monitor the stream.
You are? You don't have to. It's fine. I'm good.
I mean, I'm just waiting for the board upstairs to heat up. So.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. If you have literally nothing better to do, then you can do that. Otherwise, I got this. It's fully under control. I will monitor the chat at least once every 15 minutes.
Okay.
So if I have no audio for 14 minutes, you'll know why. It was because it happened to die right between that 15-minute interval.
I'll do an L-roll for MacBook then.
Yeah, L-roll for MacBook would be great. Anthony just finished up our MacBook Pro 13-inch 2020 review, and I'm disappointed because we've actually had, hey Anthony, we've been on a bit of a roll for MacBooks lately, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like we liked other than the butterfly key switches, we liked the Core i9 refresh, and then we liked the 16-inch Pro. We really liked that. We were pretty positive on the new MacBook Air, and then all of a sudden, this new MacBook Pro 13-inch, we were like a little disappointed, honestly, a little disappointed. Here, let's go ahead and peel this RAM. There you go. You guys happy? You feel better? You feel better? All right. I'm not even going to do the other 3.
That's the secret, no one knows.
I but I'm not going to. It's just to mess with them. All right. I'm going to throw the stuff that I've already installed in this box. OK, so our motherboard is pretty much prepped because we're actually going to be using a full-sized, their RGB add-in card NVMe SSD. This is actually the one that I'm using in my own system. I've been perfectly happy with it. I mean, as we've shown before not that long ago, if you're just kind of playing video games or whatever, it honestly doesn't make much of a difference at all, if any, to things like game loading time. However, what's really cool is that could be changing in the very, very near future. Epic Games did a really cool demonstration featuring the Sony PlayStation 5, where they showed basically just by using a very high performance SSD that they could bring graphical information into the video memory like in a streaming way, rather than kind of preloading big chunks of it and then having to swap it out in this really cumbersome manner. And so by doing that, by streaming this information, streaming this data into the video memory, they were able to interact with this unbelievably detailed environment. And it is strongly suspected, like basically it's inevitable, that on the PC, the requirement to have a high-performance SSD in order to enjoy features like that is going to come. And it's probably not going to follow the new generation consoles by much. I'm jazzed personally because as much as a lot of the time you'll see these new game engine demos and, or, you know, like a new DirectX demo or whatever the case may be, and you'll see this like, you know, unbelievable level of detail, and then you won't ever actually see a game that looks like that. Those features sound like ones that could be applied fairly quickly. Like if it's built right into Unreal Engine 5, you're pretty much guaranteed you're going to get games that are using that technology. Let's have a look at our case here. So this is yet another product category that I don't have much experience with Gigabyte's AORUS offerings, but it's looking all right so far. So we've got, that's a tempered glass front panel with just kind of like a plastic stylized fascia at the front here. We've got front USB 3, front audio. Is that a lighting button? Guess we'll find out soon enough. Power and reset. Tempered glass side panel. Steel side panel on this side, and then ventilation for the front is handled with these grills right here. So you're not going to be getting a ton of ventilation in a case like this versus one that does not have a tempered glass slab on the front of it. But given the hardware that we're putting inside, I'm honestly not too concerned about it. Let's go ahead and pop this side panel off so you guys aren't just staring at a reflection the whole time while we try and build. Hoobsoul says, over on Floatplane says, I'm missing the wobbly table. I'm not missing the wobbly table at all. The wobbly table made me extremely uncomfortable when I was, especially that time that I had like a $4,000 machine loaded up on it. I didn't have anything else to use. And at the office, we've got these fantastic, oh, well, it's not working right now. I'm trying to remember, there's a shortcut that you have to hold in order to wake it up after it's been asleep for a bit or something. But anyway, whatever. But we've got these height adjustable tables, whereas at home, I think one time I ended up propping it up on paint cans, and another time, shoot, I'm trying to remember what I used the other time. Yeah, we don't have the same kind of professional gear at home that we do here. So what should I go with next? You know what, I think I'll prep my AIO water cooler. Those tend to take a little while to install, and that gives me an opportunity to introduce yet another product category that I have never tried out from Gigabyte before. So this is their, oh, wait, no, I'm not done with the case. Pretty standard layout inside. So you've got front triple 120 millimeter mounting right here. It looks like you could put 92s, or is that one? Oh, you can go up to 140 and as little as 120. So if you were to do 140 millimeter fans, you'd probably only be able to fit 2 of them unless you take up all these 5 1/4 inch bays where there isn't really anywhere to draw air from anyway. So your best bet is probably triple 120s up front. And then you've got, looks like dual 120 or dual 240 up in the top. You guys can't see what I'm talking about because I haven't switched to Brendan. Feel free to just yell at me if I'm not on you, and I should be. So dual 120s or dual 140s in the top, and then we've got a single 120 in the back. That's what gives it a pretty slim profile. We've got a little bit of cable management room back there, and 7 PCI Express expansion slots, bottom power supply. This has kind of become the gaming case layout, right? You got the basement, so you don't have to look at all the ugly cables. Love that. You can always tell when a case manufacturer also makes power supplies because they will specifically leave a spot for your power supply branding to show through in at least some of their cases. So when they go around to trade shows or whatever else and they're launching new products, they can easily figure out, okay, you know, which one of our cases can we put our new power supply in so that we can show it off or whatever. LTTstore.com. All right. Let's go ahead and pop this puppy open. So, wow. If the box is anything to go by, this thing is full RGB. Look at that. Nice. You got a temperature readout on the top. That doesn't sound cheap. We've got links, by the way, to where you can check out all of the items that we're building with today. Some of them are Amazon, some of them are Newegg, but they're all down there. Very nice packaging. Got that nice protective foam in here. That's another way that you can tell that you're looking at a premium product. Because the funny thing about it is, nice packaging doesn't cost that much more, but it's enough that on entry-level products, you actually cannot afford it and be competitive in some cases. Wow, that is a ginormous block and pump combo unit. Looks like it's an Asetek-based design, so I'm expecting good reliability and performance. These things have been out there in the field for an awful long time. Got these swiveling 90-degree connectors here. It looks like the way they're really intended to come out is more like straight up though, because if you swivel them all the way, they get kind of caught there, so that's something to watch out for. In terms of cables coming off of it, got USB so that you can configure it. You've got 2 fan inputs so that you can use the built-in fan speed controller on the pump block combo here. Got SATA power, so you can actually power this puppy. And then you got this, which is presumably RGB. Yep. Okay, so there's our LEDs. 3 pins. So I guess we're probably using, what, 5-volt addressable? I'm not sure. We'll find that out soon enough, I suppose. And these look like, oh, interesting. Okay, so these look like, I can never remember what makes it male and what makes it female. Is it the pins in it, or is it the fact that it has kind of a socket? I think these are female, I want to say. But these might be to plug in other strips. We'll find out soon enough. Finally, we've got our 280 millimeter radiator, so we're going to go ahead and install that probably in the top of the case. I'm just trying to think about what my best airflow layout for this puppy is going to be. Given that there's a filter on the top, or it's more of a, yeah, there is. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we've got a top filter. So what I might actually do is something sort of a little unconventional and just draw fresh air in from the top and then exhaust it out the back. That gives us slightly positive pressure. We didn't go totally over the top for our graphics card, so I'm not too worried about suffocating it. We've got an RTX 2080 Super, and naturally it's not using the reference cooler, it's using one from Gigabyte, so I'm really not that concerned about it overheating. All right, oh boy, now we get into the real PC building business. AJ says for the low, low price of $3.99. Kiwi Boy says you should do a shirt with LTTstore.com and then just like hashtag sellout on the back. I've always preferred shill. I prefer shill to sellout. I think it has a nicer ring to it. All right, let's go ahead and pull this off. We're gonna go ahead and figure out what our, we're gonna have to consult the picture on the box, I think, to know which way is the best way to orient this puppy. I wanna make sure that the text is gonna be right side up. Okay, so we want our tubes coming out, yeah. We want our tubes coming out the bottom like this. So that means we probably want that going in like that. Yep, that should be good. And then, Brandon, what did I say I wanted for the fans? Did I want to? You know what? No, I lied. I don't want to do it that way. A lot of the time, you can build your computer a certain way in order to optimize the cooling by 1 or 2 degrees or whatever, and that might be important to you. To me, I make most of my PC building decisions based on convenience and or maintenance when it comes to a personal rig. If we're doing like a showpiece machine for a video for the channel, or because we're sending it to an ROG rig reboot winner, or whatever the case may be, we will put in the little bit of extra, and we'll try and get that extra couple degrees. Actually, no, for an ROG rig reboot winner, we wouldn't. We would go with ease of maintenance there as well. Just trying to think, when on earth would we go for the extra couple degrees? Almost never, because if we wanted that great cooling, we could just like hook it up to the air conditioning unit or something like that. Like we could get more cooling. So yeah, the one exception would be my personal rig update that I did recently with Hardline. Normally I use soft tubing on anything that I'm ever going to have to look at again because it is so much easier to deal with. So in this case, I'm taking the easy route, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to install these fans. They're kind of spicy looking fans, check this out. So I'm going to install these fans in the top, and I'm going to have them blowing air up. Then I'm going to put the radiator right here. That means that when it's time to clean your radiator, because you will get a little bit of dust even in a filtered case, when it's time to clean your radiator, you just take a little thing of air and you go and all the cat hair and dust and whatever else just comes off like that. Super, super easy to deal with. Get my screws unpackaged here. Twitch Play Dior says the fan is not spinning. You're right. The fan is not spinning, and it is not supposed to be spinning at this time. I've had enough of your fan not spinning memes, Twitch. Nope. Got a super chat from, hold on a second. Sorry, I'm just trying to get all my radiator screws here. Ah, no! Where'd it go? Oh, got it, cool. Hold on, I'm just gonna bring up that super chat here. Doesn't matter which way your pump outlets are, either on the bottom or top of the case. Thinking outlets on the bottom so you don't cover the RAM sticks. Wow, that super chat is pretty late. Okay. I think it might matter though. It's possible though that the display can be configured, so that might be what they're referring to. Interesting. Is this sitting funny? You see this? Am I missing something here?
It doesn't look like they align. Like they're not the same height on those two sides.
Is that just like a visual trick though? Wait, what's going on here? Are they? Wait, what? I think you're right. I think it's designed that way. Huh. So it's flat this way, but then this way. See that? How it tapers? So I can only install the fans on this radiator one way. Interesting. That's probably not the way that I would have done it, because it means that the screws are the right length for these ones, but then they're way too long and they're kind of going to mangle the fins under these ones, I'm going to consult the manual. That seems like a good idea right about now. Okay, yeah, float plane seems to be about as confused as I am. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Okay, well, the manual clearly specifies that you are to install the fans this way, so at least they got you covered there with the correct instructions. But I sort of wish that there was like a different length of screw for the shorter thickness thing. Well, I mean, hey, you guys, I think what you guys love about us is we're not afraid to criticize our sponsors. And I guess Gigabyte has given us a wonderful opportunity today. I don't mind stylized hardware in the slightest, but I do mind a little bit when it starts to interfere with the functionality of it. And this is something that if I were on Gigabyte's design team, I would not allow. This is much like when I criticized Corsair back in the day about their fans that had like the kind of rounded circular edges that caused these divots to exist here. So they didn't have proper static pressure when they were installed on something square like a radiator. I gave them a real hard time about that over the years, and eventually they stopped doing that because it was stupid. This is something that I would definitely like to see adjusted in the future, because this is a lot of. Fortunately, modern radiators don't have the actual tubes that carry the water under the fan holes anymore, but this is a lot of fin mangling that it's not going to affect performance. It just makes me uncomfortable. That's all. It's an emotional thing, okay? So let's go ahead and get this fan installed here. I've got some people pointing out that 2 screws would be plenty. I could just put in the 2 that it makes me more comfortable. That is true. That really is enough to mount a fan to a radiator. But when the manual says, you know, use 8 screws, and when there are 8 holes, I also think it's fair for a user to assume that they're supposed to put in 8 screws. And, you know, 2 screws is not proper, and your product should be designed to be used properly. And then if there are shortcuts, like, hey, that's great, there's a shortcut. Interesting. Zetharian over in Floatplane chat says, hey, that makes sense, because they probably want it done that way to show off the RGB more. Okay, fair enough. But, yeah, okay. Man, I mean, I guess that is the kind of build this is, given we've got RGB RAM placeholders. So that's something. The manual says to peel the peels too, says Lord Taylor. I doubt that the manual for that memory says to peel the peels on the RGB sticks. I doubt it. A peel on the motherboard? No. Oh, this one? Yeah. No, I took that off. That's just a glossy surface. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good on that one. I did manage to get that one. Kpanga says, any updates on the air conditioning project? I do. It's a bit embarrassing, but I will share it with you guys anyway. I ordered the wrong air conditioning unit, not once, but twice. It's not something I'm proud to admit. And while I was ordering the wrong thing and arranging returns for the wrong thing, they ran out of stock of the right thing, because we went from me being on the ball and getting on this early to everyone and their dog, you know, being like, hey, it's time to air condition if we're going to do it this year. So the order's in place. All the installation is out of my attic, and I've actually started on some of the other projects that I intended to do at the same time. So my home security system has been upgraded. My home Wi-Fi has been upgraded. This is all stuff that I wanted to do while the installation was out of the attic. So I'm just waiting on the correct, I think it's the, is it the outside unit that's out of stock? I think I'm waiting on the correct outside unit, and then we can get going on that. I'm really excited to have Brian the electrician back. We always have a ton of fun when we work together. So I think that video is just going to be a complete blast. It's going to be really awful, especially if we're working on a hot day, because the attic is, the way that my attic is designed, there's no insulation between like the strapping for the roof and the attic space. Like it's like an open airflow style of attic where you actually need that cold air and that warm air coming through it. And so what it means is that on a hot day, it is sweltering up there. So we're going to be crawling around, running refrigerant lines and power and all that kind of good stuff, and just dying. All right. I only put 2 screws in this for now, and the reason is that I want to make sure that I'm going to be able to get the motherboard in before I go ahead and put the rest of them in. Sometimes you'll run into issues where in compact cases, so this is a mid-tower case, in compact cases, sometimes you kind of have to go motherboard first and then radiator, or the other way around, depending on the design. Or you might have clearance issues. It looks like I'm going to be able to get in there. Oh, we might have to go top first, though. Let me just make sure that all the right standoffs are in. And they are not. OK, so let's get those standoffs installed. Where does Gigabyte put the hardware for this? Oh, there it is. It's just on a little baggie in the front here. Tid says, so does this mean that there will be an LTT home improvement channel? I would actually love to do more smart home stuff. Like even something crazy like a home renovation series where we like take a totally dumb home and like, well, yeah, I mean, basically like all those shows, right? So where we take, but instead of, you know, making it stylish, we make it techie. I think that would be a ton of fun. It's something that we've thrown around internally before, but as you guys can imagine, the costs associated with doing something like that would be astronomical, especially here in Vancouver where real estate is not exactly cheap. So it's on my bucket list. So is doing a music video though, and that still hasn't happened. Remember I promised, I think last year, that we were going to do it this year, come hell or high water? Yeah. Well, hell and high water didn't come, so, you know, I only promised we were going to do it if those things happen.
So what you're saying is you need your house decimated.
Yeah, I need something really, really bad to happen, then I'm going to sing about it. I still do want to do it at some point. I fell out of love with the concept that I had for the song that we were going to do.
What was that? We started talking about that like 4 years ago?
Something like that, yeah. So far, the closest thing we've done to a music video is that Stormtrooper rap for the Streets by 50 headphones. I still remember how much flack I took in the comments of that video, like, you don't like understand music like 50 Cent does. And I'm like, no, you don't understand shameless businessman, Curtis, whatever his name is. Sorry? I think Curtis Jackson, is that? I think that's his real name. Yeah, you don't understand like what he's up to over there. You are being sold like very, very cheap headphones for a lot more than they're worth right now. Yeah. All right. What was I just doing now? Oh yeah, I put the standoffs in. Thanks, Brandon. What would I do without you? Well, I could last 2 months. I know that much. Yeah, I'd be all right for 2 months. And then that would be the end of it. I'd reach the end of my rope. I'd be like, I need to get back to the office now. Okay, I think I've got everything cleared out of the way that I need. I'm just gonna support this by the back plate here and try and get this up here. It's a bit of a tight fit, but that's the thing. You gotta make trade-offs, right? If you want a big tower case, yeah, it's easier to work in, but you're gonna have to have a lot more space to store it, and it's gonna be heavy and all that good stuff. Oh man, come on, just need that cable to move. There we go. Come on, baby. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah? Did I not line those up right? Oh no. Dang it. Well, that's fine. Third time's a charm, right? We'll just do it the third time. So I overlooked something. This motherboard, because they've got so much M.2 storage on it, doesn't actually have the center standoff. So, see that? Normally you'd have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ATX standoffs. But this one has an M.2 in the way. So how are they supposed to put a hole there? They didn't. So that means I have to pull out that one that's usually installed by default. Normally you get these 6 installed by default. All right, there we go. The I/O shield? Oh, it has a pre-installed I/O shield. There you go. Yeah, people get antsy when they see me skip a step. Had a lot of people really uncomfortable on one of these previous build streams when they thought I didn't put any thermal compound on, but it actually was just pre-applied to the cooler that I was using. Okay, here we go. All right, just gotta hold this in place. And, oh, rats. I don't know which screws I'm using, but that's okay, because I've got this. Here, Brandon, I'm gonna show you some PC building magic right now. All right, watch this. So I've got a standoff here, and I've got, oh, never mind, I don't have to do it. I was gonna like stand up a screw, and then I was gonna like thread it on there to see if it's right, but I can tell just looking at it, it's M3 or M4 or whatever these are. It's the metric ones. PC screws are either 632 or M, whichever one of them it is. And usually you can tell visually pretty easily which one it is, just by kind of looking inside. Mike over on YouTube is like, lay it down? 2 question marks on there, love it. Not necessary, it's fine. I got this, it's totally under control. You don't need to lay a case. You know what's funny is I always used to lay my systems down when I was building them. And it wasn't until I worked with a tech at the NCIX Langley store. His name was Andrew, and I saw him building a computer. He actually was seated, and he had it kind of like, so he was sitting, and he had it kind of like leaned over in front of him. So it was almost vertical, and he was building it like that. And I was like, why are you doing that? Like, who would do that? And he's like, oh, well, it takes up less space on my desk. And when I need to get around the back for cable management or to plug something in or whatever, it's easier to just kind of rotate it around. And he converted me. So now I almost always build systems standing up. There's only a couple of points where it's more vulnerable to, having something fall over or fall out. And once you've done it enough times, I mean, there's certain things that I still do with the system laying down. Like I will almost never install a CPU like this with the system standing upright. There's just too much risk of it kind of falling out like that, which we've definitely had happen during like quick swaps when we're troubleshooting. But yeah, the CPU and motherboard falling down are just about the only things that can go wrong when you build in this manner. Wow, this is really tight. Can you see that, Brandon? There is basically zero clearance between the I/O shield and this fan cable here. That is crazy. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plug this fan in here, which means this Molex connector here has gotta go. Should I just rip it off, or should I go and find side? Oh, nope, I've actually got side cutters right here. Oh, it is so nice to be in a proper workshop again, working on this stuff. Who took the side cutters? Unbelievable. Well, I will apparently use snips for this, even though that is kind of like killing an earthworm with a baseball bat. All right. Yeah, I got that tight enough that those shouldn't touch each other. That's the only real concern when you chop something off like that, is just to make sure that the nubbins don't short off each other. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of wiggle wobble this back and forth to hide as much of it as I can behind the fan here. Don't like having excess fan cable just hanging around if I don't have to. Man, the studio lights look so much better for this stuff too. All right. There we go. Oh yeah. Just gotta tuck that in again. Get in there. Okay, I need my spudger. Oh, interesting. No, that's not a spudger. Dang it, and this iFixit kit doesn't have a spudger in it. Come on, guys. No, it's fine. I've got the metal tool. I just prefer not to use it because I don't want to scratch stuff. Like the plastic one better for stuff like this. Get in there. Get in there. Stop. Okay. Calling that good. What do you think? Does that look clean enough? All right. CPU cooler time. We have a lot of wires to sort out. Actually, no, we're not going to do CPU cooler yet because you can see how tall this thing is. See, it's really high profile. So once we put that in, it's going to be kind of hard to get at the area up here. So I want to get my power supply in there, get that cable run at least, so that I don't have to worry about it once the CPU is already, or the CPU cooler is already installed. Sup, Pat Rick? Wait, Pat Rick? You mean Patrick? You, why you get me like that, Alexander? That was a super chat. Kiwi Boy 22 says, does any streaming service offer more than 1080p? Not free ones that I'm aware of. I mean, there's definitely, ways to stream more than 1080p online. But as far as like consumer-facing ones, like a Twitch TV or a YouTube, pretty much everyone's capped at 1080. Honestly, it's not the resolution that's the main issue in terms of the stream quality, though. It's the bitrate. So pretty much everyone and their dog is capped at around 6,000 kilobit per second, or 6 megabit. And at that bitrate, 1080p can be a benefit in terms of the sharpness of the image, but you're giving up other things when you go from 720 to 1080 at just 6 megabit. Like when you watch a VOD on YouTube, if I recall correctly, 1080 is closer to around 10 megabit. Is that right, Brendan? I'm trying to remember what their default bit rates are.
10 megabit for 1080?
Yeah, or is it 9 or is it? Anyway, it's definitely higher than 6. I know that much for sure. Oh, interesting. I haven't seen this in a while. This is the AORUS AP750GM modular power supply. So you got that nice modular interface on the back there. Got that branding that fits perfectly in that window on the case. Oh yeah. Got the power port. Warning. Features a fan stop function, so be aware of that. So don't worry if the fan's not spinning, Twitch chat. All right? It's all good. 140 millimeter fan in there. Right, there you go. Get that centered for you. And then this is interesting. So I haven't seen this in a while. They've actually got some capacitors on the 24-pin connector. Not the most attractive approach to this, but my understanding is these are to combat, I'm just trying to remember, I think it's to help with ripple. Yeah, what I would probably do is, what I'm probably going to end up doing is kind of strapping those down. Oh, right, it's not the 24 pin I wanted to run anyway, though. These are heavy cables. Sheesh. You know, it's funny, I remember reading about a power supply manufacturer, this is back in the day, that actually shipped their unit to the like 80 plus guys with shorter cables on it so that they could get a better 80 plus efficiency rating. And then cheaped out on the, and then extended them to like lengths that are reasonable to actually install in a case later. And then I remember reading about another one that had their validation done with like thick cables and then swapped them out for like thinner gauge wires later. And that also hurt the efficiency, and they got caught doing that as well. Oh, PC industry. You so silly. All right. So let's go ahead and pop this up through here. Man, it is so refreshing having a camera operator for this. Honestly, I have never missed you more than I did over the last couple months, Brendan.
We missed you too.
Aw, thank you. All right, there we go. So that 8-pin's in there. Now we can go ahead and install our CPU cooler. Oh, I don't know if I ever actually like formally said anything, but like I'm back. I'm back now. I'm going to be in office pretty much every day. Unless I'm doing something like the air conditioning shoot at my house or whatever. I'm so tired of it. I love my kids and everything, but when it comes to getting work done, it's really, really tough when I'm at home. And I'm kind of like, I've been kind of burned out, which is funny because you would think being at home all the time, I'd feel like better than ever. But I don't know if you see some of the timestamps on like my footage ingests and stuff. Like sometimes I'm putting footage on the server at like 2, 3 in the morning because that's when I finish the project, yeah. And like on the one hand, it's opened up new creative possibilities that I otherwise either didn't have or, this is really ugly, this big brown box here. Do you mind actually tightening up the A-roll and I'll just get this out of here? Yeah, thanks. Just a little bit, not much, not much. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, like it's opened up creative possibilities that, were possible before, but not convenient. Like just having all the gear at home all the time means that when I was doing the security system upgrade, I was able to work on it throughout the day. So when I did my first install, it was daytime, and I was able to look at the image quality in the day. And then when I did my second install, it was nighttime, so I could look at the night vision. That's not something that's easy to do when I'm shooting with you guys who like presumably have your own homes that you want to go to at the end of the day and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been really good in some ways, but I'm also just like, it's just exhausting.
It's the same. It's like it's harder for me to test low light for anything camera-wise because it's not dark during the day.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Like if you're working on a camera review. So guys, if Brandon's working on a camera review, for example, every time? Yeah, every time he's got to take it home. And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, strictly speaking from like an employment standards perspective, he's supposed to be able to get all his work done, during his scheduled shift or whatever. But the flip side of that is, hey, we want to do a good job for you guys. We kind of take pride in our work. And you cannot test the low light outdoor capabilities of a camera unless you go outside at night. Yeah. Just kind of no way around it. I don't know. There's a lot of things about our industry that are just, I feel like even in the time that we've been doing it, have gone from being completely Wild West to getting to the point where they're going to become more regulated. And I think it's been a good thing for our work-life balance, like as a company. But I think in some ways it's hurt us. And I think people notice sometimes. They're like, oh yeah, you guys were cooler when you were at the house. And it's like, no, we actually made objectively worse content that was less informative and didn't look as good and all that stuff. But there's a little bit of like jankiness factor that I think people appreciate. So something that James and I were talking about was maybe even if I'm in the office all the time, I should keep a couple aperture lights at my house keep a 200 or a C200 there, and just film stuff there when it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, now that you have that extra practice back in there too.
Hey, how have I been doing? Have you looked at anything I've shot?
No, not bad. Honestly, better, much better than if you were to do it like at the beginning.
Yeah, back when I didn't know what aperture meant or like ISO was.
Owning lights, really?
Yeah. What do you mean by owning lights, really? We didn't own lights at the beginning. Your first shoot, wait, did we have the Kino flows already for your first shoot?
That's it. And we would never,
That's it.
We would never have chosen to buy those now.
No, those were not.
Landscape.
Those were not a great choice. I thought Ed asked you.
Nope.
Are you sure?
Nope.
Because I'm pretty sure he told me he asked his like gearhead friend at BCIT.
It's also that I didn't know as much then, and more stuff exists now.
Yeah,
Right?
there's a lot more options. And I mean, the Kino flows were one of those things that you as a gearhead might have read a lot of really great reviews about, but then, okay, well, I don't know. Maybe it was because he said we were only getting 2 lights, and you were like, well, if you're only getting 2 lights and you need it for everything,
Well, I think the other
I don't know.
alternative is what we had at school at the time when he asked me is we only had tungsten lights. So that
Tungsten lights wouldn't have been an option at all.
Exactly,
Yeah.
If you want something daylight, you have to go with Kino.
Daylight and fluorescent.
Really available.
Okay. So that's probably what happened then.
Probably what happened.
Man, looking back at some of the old Tech Quickie videos when all we had was the 2 Kino Flow lights and we were trying to light a subject and a green screen. Oh, so good. So good. All right, let's run our SATA power connector here. One thing that's nice about these fans with their like indented frames is that even though I didn't run these wires already, which I probably should have, I was able to get past this fan. I otherwise might not have been able to. So that's, I'm still not endorsing them because I do like to have the flexibility to install my fans in whatever orientation I want. But that was an unintended positive consequence. I otherwise would have had to pull my my radiator off in order to run these cables. All right. I'll give you this one, Gigabyte. I will give you this one. See, this is another thing that's a lot easier when you're standing the case up. Like, I'm still contorted in a really uncomfortable position, but the only reason for that is that we're filming it. If I was just building this computer for fun on my own time, I would be facing it directly and I wouldn't have to like lean myself over like this in order to work on it. And actually, the only reason I was doing that was because I was trying to stay out of the way of this camera angle that I wasn't even using. Oh well. Okay, I gotta shovel of these over. This is the bulkiest connector, and I think it's going to get through. Yep, got it.
Thanked us for caring about audio quality now. He's like, what do you guys use, electrosonics and sound device mixers now? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
That's probably the biggest upgrade that we ever made. Yeah, well, okay. I shouldn't say the biggest upgrade we ever made, but like, I've had a lot of people ask over the years what we use for audio. So you can see the pack that I'm wearing. This is a, man, I forget the model, but yeah, Electrosonics LTB1. And it is $2,000. This isn't just like, this isn't YouTuber flexing like, oh yeah, you know, look how much money I spent. This is $2,000 just for the transmitter, $2,000 again for the receiver that goes on the camera, or in this case on our Bluetooth, oh wait, no, what is that? What's that mixer? Whatever, on our mixer for the live cart, or it goes onto the camera or onto the mix pre that we use for the red cameras. So it's $4,000 right there, plus another $400 for, these are from Sanken? Yeah, so for like a Sanken lavalier mic like this. So total solution after tax and shipping is $5,000. There are tons of YouTubers out there whose entire camera and audio setup, which looks and sounds great, is less than $5,000. But I maintain that these were one of the best upgrades that we ever made. They sound great. Like, our lavs sound as good as a lot of other people's shotguns. And a shotgun mic is just so much more work to move around, especially if you have a subject that's moving. And I really like a really dynamic hosting style where I'm moving around a lot and leaning into things. And it just, unless we had a dedicated boom operator, which I can guarantee you would cost more than this mic pack in the long term, there's just no way to do it with a shotgun microphone. And then the other thing that it has saved us, aside from time, is reshoots. Like, there's probably footage of me raging out. Like, I can only remember, we're gonna go fan side down. This has got pretty tall feet, so fan side down. I can only remember a couple of times raging out harder. Maybe once at the teleprompter, and once when we lost some footage. And that was probably the one time that I have yelled collectively at my entire staff about something. Like, I tend not to be, you know, an angry boss, I don't think. But it was due to sheer carelessness. We lost some footage. I've gotten really mad at the teleprompter at times. But the other thing that really got me more than anything else was getting a good take, especially back in the days that we didn't script as much of it. So I would have to remember, what was the thing that I said last? What word did I leave off on? What intonation did I leave off on? I would have to do another take. I would nail the take. I'd remember exactly what I said. I would dump from my brain, from like my RAM, from my active working memory, the intonation before, and then my camera operator would say, oh, hey, we got an audio hiss, or we got a pop on that one. We got to redo that take. Meanwhile, I have kind of forgotten. So now we've got this extremely flow-breaking, time-wasting interruption where we need to both go look at the camera together, put headphones on, listen to the last take, remember what I said and what the intonation was, and do it over again. You know, that costs you 15 minutes every time. And when you're trying to make, you know, we're now at the point where we do 3 short circuits, 2 tech quickies, that's 5, 6 LTTs, that's 11, WAN show, that's 12. Am I forgetting a channel? Channel Super Fun once a month, so like 12.25. I feel like I'm missing one. Tech Linked, 15.25. We're doing over 15 videos a week. You can't waste 15 minutes here and there with audio pops and audio hisses. So these were a totally worthwhile upgrade. We've actually got 2 of them. And then we've got a bunch of those Sennheiser, what is it, G110, or W110WG3, whatever, the 110 G3, the G3, the one that like everyone and their dog uses for if we have like guests coming in, or we're, you know, shooting like a Channel Super Fun or something and a bunch of people need to be mic'd, but if there's an audio hiss or whatever, you know, we don't care. That's how you can tell if you're ever visiting us and shooting something with us, like as a special guest, you can tell how important you are. Because if you get a Senkin, then you're really, really important. We consider everything you say to be, you know, not losable. And if you get a Sennheiser, then we figure, you know, if we miss it here and there.
That is acceptable.
But that wasn't true until recently. We only got a second Senkin not that long ago. So if you were here like, you know, a year ago or whatever, and you got a Sennheiser, that's still fine. To be clear, we're not saying the Sennheisers are bad mics or anything. We just work in an environment that is extremely RF polluted. And so when I use those Sennheisers at home, they're fine. And that's why you'll see a lot of really great reviews of them. And you'll see people saying like, oh, it's insanity that anyone spends, you know, 10 times the price on electrosonics or whatever. And in their experience, I don't doubt that that's true. But in our experience, it's absolutely necessary when you've got all this equipment around you to have something that's more rock solid. What's up? Oh, you had your hands on your head.
I'm just thinking about all the audio.
Yeah. Back in the old days. All right. So there we go. We're actually coming along pretty well here. We've got our CPU cooler installed. We've got all these cables run around to the back. We can start wiring up let's get the case wiring out of the way so we don't have to deal with that later. So front USB 3 is probably down here at the bottom. No, okay, front USB 3 is over here. Both the Type-C and more classic USB 3 are over here. This case doesn't have a Type-C connector, so we're not going to use that one. So we'll just use that. Got our front panel audio. Oh, you know what? I can actually get you guys a really nice close-up of what I'm doing right now. I forgot about this one. Ah, yeah. What's up, Ed?
Did you know that the shirts are up on the store now?
The shirts are up on the store. Are they? Did someone else take over Brandon's Photoshop duties?
Yeah, Andy finished it up.
Oh, thanks. Andy, is there anything he can't do?
No.
He's great.
He's great.
I like Andy.
Alright.
We should hire him. I like it, Brandon. So guys, new LTTstore.com announcement. Do I have the other one? Actually, Brandon, can you run and get the other one?
Yeah, sure.
You know where it is, right? Wait, do you? Did I take it away?
Did you take it away?
I might have taken it away.
You know what the shirt's on?
Okay, whatever. On LTTstore.com right now, we just launched 2 new shirt designs with a twist. So I got my wife to agree to this somehow. She does have a preference, but she went ahead with it. And depending on which of these designs sells more units, I will be keeping or getting rid of my facial hair. So we've got 2 designs. We've got the clean. That's the one I'm wearing right now. And wait, oh wait, Brandon, that's the elemental.
I know.
Oh, okay, you're getting the other one?
Yeah.
I may have put it in my office.
Oh, I think you did.
Yep. So Brandon's going to get it right now. So we've got 2 designs. We've got the clean, which is like the clean-shaven Linus face, and then we've got the beard, which is, it's a different color, and he's gonna bring it down. I'll get you guys a good look at it. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and wire up the rest of these things. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you guys my other camera that I'm gonna use to show you what I'm doing. Hey, look at that. We've got a GoPro attached to a battery bank and an HDMI cable to get you guys a real good look at our front panel connectors here. So we've also got a USB 2 front panel connector. So I'll just bring that up through there. This is actually really hard to do. And now that I have a camera operator, there's really no reason to do this anymore. That's, yep, that's a lesson that we're learning over and over again today. So there you go. There's the front USB that you couldn't see me plugging in. Yeah, screw it. We're just going to switch back over to this. Okay, good enough. And I'll do the front panel power switch and all that good stuff. And then I'll show you guys the beard shirt. I'm not going to let you in on, which design I like better or which one I think is going to win or anything like that. But over the next, I don't know if we have a time period for it. I'm sure Nick will pipe up in the chat if he's watching and let you guys know. But over the next, whatever time period it is, whichever one sells more is going to be my facial hairstyle for the rest of the year. That's what I've committed. End of 2020. I will keep the beard until then, or I will clean shave and not go back to the beard until then.
Did your children even recognize you?
Oh yeah. They're good. They don't complain about the beard anymore, but they really didn't like it at first because they said my face was too scratchy, like when I gave them hugs and stuff. Okay, front panel connectors are all done. Nice. Oh, actually, since you're back, let's get a good look at the designs on the shirts too.
So,
I mean, obviously you can see them at lttstore.com. There we go. Okay, so Brandon?
Yep. Oh, right.
There we go. So that's the clean. All right, and I'm not allowed to take my shirt off because we're streaming on Twitch, so I can't change it. Also, I have a lav mic taped to it, so that would be inconvenient. But I'm gonna go ahead and throw this one on over top for now. This is the beard. Oh yeah. So we've got the beard and oh man, I wanted that to be more graceful. Got the clean, got the beard. Got the clean, got the beard. I'm too warm to wear 2 shirts right now. Ugh. But yeah, go ahead, cast your vote, and while you're over there, get a water bottle or whatever, lttstore.com. All right, you're good. I went back to the other camera. Let's get these modular cables in here. Still cold. I don't know how I lived without insulated water bottles before I switched to these. Oh man, Okay, this is going to be pretty inconvenient. I wish I had installed this end of the modular cables before getting this far. We're going to do the 24 pin first because that one is real tricky to get at. I may have no choice. I may actually just have to unscrew this power supply because there's not much room between this hard drive cage and the power supply. There's enough room for the cables to come out, but not really enough room for the cables to come out and my fingers. So I'm just going to pop this open. Boomcan90 says, Linus Beard looks better than Beard shirt. Well, okay. It's funny that you bring that up because we actually went out of our way to try to make the designs themselves as equal as possible. So we didn't want people buying one over the other just because they like the design of the shirt better. We wanted it to be all about casting your vote. I've come around to it a lot, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
There's still things that I like better about being clean shaven, like especially having to wear a mask with the beard. Extremely uncomfortable. And I'm not using the word extremely lightly here. Like, it is horrible. But other than that, after probably I'd say the first like 3 weeks, it's not too itchy anymore. And I don't like look in the mirror and go like, oh, who's that? Yeah, I've gotten pretty used to it.
Have you ever had a beard in your life?
No, I was never able to grow one before. I was kind of surprised that I was able to grow one. Because even a little while ago, when I went kind of mountain man for a little bit, it was quite patchy. Yeah. Well, I thought it was anyway. People at the office were telling me they thought it was good already, but I wasn't pleased that time. But I remember my dad telling me too that he wasn't able to grow a beard until he was in his late 20s. He was like a baby face until then, and then all of a sudden, just like thick, full beard came in. And I was like, yeah, sure, Dad, sure, Dad. I've never really aspired to have a beard. Like, it's not really a look that I've ever cared about, so I didn't really think about it beyond that. But hey, there it is. Got it now, got the option. People keep telling me I need beard oil. Okay, that may be true. So far, I've got conditioner going already, so I figured that much out. But I have not started rocking the beard oil just yet.
Dollar Shave Club actually has that.
It wouldn't surprise me if Dollar Shave Club had that. They've got like pretty much everything at this point. Do you groom it or trim it at all? So far, all I've really done is just maintain the neckline. I do want to take some of the length out of the chin right now because it's at the point where it's changing the shape of my face more than I would like. I already have kind of like a pointy chin, you know? Like, I don't think I need more chin point. Then again, you know, I don't know. I'm one of those people who knows so little about sort of male standards of beauty. I always look at these debates about, you know, the depiction of beauty in the media, and, you know, mostly it centers around women, but then there's unrealistic, you know, whatever. But then sometimes the conversation changes to like men, and the way, like, you know, their muscles are like unrealistic or their features are unrealistic, and I'm like, I'm one of those people who just cannot tell. Like, I can look at 10 men and I could try to rank them from 1 to 10 in terms of physical attractiveness, and I would get literally every single one of them wrong. I just have no idea. Like, I remember talking to my wife, and I'm not gonna name any names here because that would be super awkward, but I was talking to my wife about this a while back, and I was like, yeah, I don't understand why this mutual acquaintance X, you know, can't find like a great girlfriend, you know? They're smart, they're funny, they're good looking, and she's like, and I'm just like, oh, Well, that's not a very nice thing to say. So, yeah, okay. What's this? David M over on Floatplane, or David RN on Floatplane is like, well, she could just have very strange taste in men. I mean, that's fair. But by and large, she seems to mostly go with the consensus. So I think she probably, yeah, she probably, you know, got it right. But I had no idea. It's not the kind of thing that matters to me. Like I'm not in an industry where I like need to care that much about, you know, how I look compared to, you know, how the other people in my space look. And I don't know. I'm just.
People like a good beard too. So you're on a positive trajectory here.
On a what, sorry?
Positive trajectory.
What's a positive trajectory?
Your beard.
Oh, the beard is.
Yeah, people like beards.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like, see, that's another thing. Like, I never really cared about having the beard because I didn't know that, like, you know, having a full beard is, like, you know, important to being a good-looking guy. It's like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, it just looks kind of uncomfortable. It's like yet another thing to maintain. Like, what's my motivation here exactly? But there you have it. I'm learning more, you know? You never stop learning in life, right?
Someone says color your beard.
Color it. Ooh.
Just dye it orange one day.
I don't know. I don't know about the colored beard thing. And this is coming from someone who has done colored hair a number of times in my life. I had colored hair almost throughout high school. Just not 100% sold on the colored beard thing, at least not for me. For some people, it definitely works. But that's another sort of, you know, why am I putting this much work into my personal appearance thing? Again, it's not like it's my job to look great, so.
RGB beard.
RGB beard, lordy. It is a funny thing, though. We started getting more views around the time that I grew out the beard. And I think it has more to do with people being stuck at home because of, like,
Correlation is not
COVID, yeah, COVID self-isolation and stuff like that. But there is an argument to be made for, I mean, there's a reason that people would put, in the old days of, you know, peak YouTube clickbait, there's a reason that YouTubers would put just, like, attractive women in the thumbnail of a video about something completely unrelated.
Remember when that was everything on YouTube?
Yeah.
Literally everything?
People are more likely to click on just like an attractive person, I guess, if that's anything to go by. So, you know, it made me wonder if maybe I should start caring about my personal appearance more. I forget why, but there was a video recently. I was working on guidance for something, and I had to go back and look at some really, really old videos. And I was like, wow. I had some days when I really did look like I hadn't showered in a week, rolled out of bed onto set, and just started filming. Like, how did you put up with that, Brandon? Because you're put together pretty well. Like, you clearly care.
Does it seem like that's good?
Yeah, it seems like you care.
Cool.
I mean, compared to me when I'm at my worst, you're like, yeah, not anywhere near that on your worst day.
I think the contrast was, depending on the days of the week, Luke probably always like had more intense, like rolled out of bed look.
Yes. Luke was probably the reason that I didn't look that bad in like a staff, you know, portrait. And to be clear, okay, again, like my word on this means nothing apparently, but you know, I think Luke's a pretty handsome man.
Luke's a great looking dude.
Yeah, he just.
He doesn't even have to try.
Yeah, he cannot be
He
arsed.
does not have to try.
Yeah, he just cannot be arsed to look any better than rolled out of bed Luke. And I'll say that to his face. I've said that many times to his face. In fact, I created a dress code at our office because I said that to his face. Our only dress code is that you must wear pants. Or even shorts is okay. You just must wear clothes. Remember when he used to come to work in his jammies and his junk would just kind of like be dangling? Yeah, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have reminded you of that. It's a traumatic time for all of us. I'm sorry?
Those are the best.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, man. DJ Wadwa says, oh, KO260, Linus, I have a question for you. How come you did the video on how amazing the THX Panda headphones were, but since then you haven't mentioned them again? Well, they haven't even started shipping them yet, as far as I know. Besides, I daily drive in-ears, not over-ears. So those are great, and when I can get my hands on a pair, I'm going to evaluate them for long-term comfort, because they sound amazing. But I'm not sure if they're going to hold up to like wearing them for 4 hours at a time, like I might if I'm gaming. And if they hold up for long-term comfort, you'll probably see them on my game streams. You'll probably see them as my new daily drivers. I love the versatility and that they sound great, both wired and wireless. But I'm waiting to get my hands on a production unit before I fully switch or fully judge them. They did tell me that the ones that I had were pretty darn close to final, but I actually don't even know if we still have them. Someone at work might have scooped them for their desk anyway. Okay. We are making awesome progress here. I already have the power supply totally wired up. The only thing that I'm left with back here is I need to, wait, where are my fan cables? I need to plug my fan cables into these leads that are coming off of the CPU block. I don't know where they went. What the heck? Oh, are these? No, these are LED leads. I'm sorry, I'm super confused right now. I have no idea where my fan power leads are. Oh, wait. Oh, I ran them already. Okay, well, there's your problem. I ran them all the way down to the bottom. Okay, cool. So I don't need to use this, in which case I can just tie it up here or something. Neat.
Someone's asking what do you use for in-ear for gaming?
In-ears for gaming, I would just use like good audiophile grade in-ears. There's nothing gaming specific about them. I'm not aware of any decent like gaming branded in-ears. Oh, lots of people game with in-ears. Really? That was really common in esports back when the headsets that they were sponsored with really sucked. Is they would often have like good in-ears on, and then they'd have their like garbage sponsored headphones on over top of them.
The real truth to professional gaming.
Oh, I know, right? Well, it's the real truth to professional anything. I was reading about. I was reading a really interesting article about what rackets a bunch of tennis pros actually use. Right. And I was already aware of this practice in badminton, so it wasn't like a surprise to me. It wasn't like a shocker scandal or anything. But most of the professionals out there are not using the racket that they appear to be using and the one that they're endorsing. A lot of the time, what they're using is something older. And then it's just being repainted, like kind of reskinned to look like whatever the new one they're supposed to be promoting is. Because when you're, it's either Federer or Nadal, if I recall correctly, that actually uses the one that they endorse. But most of the other, it's one of the top, it's one of the three. It's Djokovic, Nadal, or Federer. One of them uses the actual racket, but the other two, if I recall correctly, are using some older one. Because when you're at that level, when you're that finely tuned, you don't move a gram of the weight. Like the balance, the weight, the feel, it all has to be identical because that's how you get that muscle memory, right? You can't go changing other variables. And so I know that it's really common in badminton as well for the players to have just some old racket that was like what they learned on, or usually not what they learned on because there's been a lot of technology changes in the last 30, 40 years, but not a lot actually in the last 10 years. So it's really common to have great rackets from like 10, 15 years ago. And so they'll just be like using that forever. And so the manufacturer will just do small runs of them for that player, paint them up like whatever new stupid thing they're promoting is, and no one's the wiser. I forget how I got on this topic of conversation.
Gaming headphones.
Gaming headphones, that's right, yeah. So, when gaming reaches like that next level, I mean, we're already getting to the point where prominent gamers, mostly streamers as far as I can tell, but prominent gamers are getting, multi-million-dollar paychecks to be platform exclusive or endorse things or whatever else. When you reach that level, it's not that crazy to think that they might get completely custom-tuned peripheral SKUs that make no sense for the general public. Like that's, sorry?
They already do.
Do they get their own like headphones?
They get their own gear. Like, they have complaints and stuff. Complaining people.
So there you go. Ed says they do already get their own SKUs. I would guess things like if they like this mouse, but it's a little bit too heavy or whatever the case may be, that's the most common stuff. I wouldn't imagine it as much in headphones, because that's not something that I think most people are asking to be tuned in the same way. They can probably do with EQ most of what a gamer would care about when it comes to headphones, but yep. There you go, guys. Now you know. The cat's out of the bag. Shoot, I was going to transition into something else when Ed came over and so rudely interrupted. Speaking of interrupting, yeah, what can I do for you?
How long do you need for that?
To finish this?
Yeah.
What time is it? It's 3? Oh man, I got to be out of here by about like 4:20 to get to WAN show on time. Man, how many more videos do you need me to host before I leave today?
Oh, we just need to do tech linked.
Oh, you have to do tech linked.
Bedroom set.
Oh, I see. You want to host tech linked. Oh, I see.
If you're going to stay there, we can do it in the bedroom set or outside.
Yeah, cool. Why don't you do it outside? Outside is fun. Oh, no. Okay, slight oversight on this one. Oh, shoot, I opened up a Chrome tab. Go away. Slight oversight. These are kind of hard to bend out with the motherboard already installed, so I would strongly recommend doing that before you install your motherboard. If it was only the PCB behind there, it would be fine, but it's not because this motherboard has kind of like a shield, like an aesthetic shield thing on top of it. So unfortunately, yeah, well they have little like welding, like they're spot welded, so they're not entirely attached, but it's kind of tricky to get them out if you can't bend them backwards. So we need to get a few of these out actually for the graphics card and the SSD. Illuminite says, I don't think an esports player would stay with an objectively worse monitor because it's what they're used to. Oh, that's what I was going to talk about. How sometimes the reason that they stay using what they're using is not as simple as worse or better. So if you feel kind of like ripped off because, you know, the racket manufacturer is selling you one thing based on that you think it's what some pro you like is using, and that's not actually what you're getting, like, no, I want what they're actually using. You got to understand that a professional tennis player has arm strength and coordination that you don't have. So a lot of the time, those players are using something that's heavier than what would be appropriate for the average, even competitive recreational player if you're not actually playing professionally. So what was it? What was the comment that I read out? Do you remember? Dang it. Yeah, monitor, right. So an esports player using an objectively worse monitor, it depends what you mean by worse. So much like the tennis players might prefer something heavier, that to an average player might be worse, an esports player might prefer a lower resolution display because that does actually affect your muscle memory potentially. Or they might prefer a non-widescreen display. Because, you know, some game that they predominantly play doesn't allow you to have extra FOV, so it's better to just play at the default resolution rather than like stretching it, which would be really stupid. Or they might just have different priorities. So to them, a higher refresh rate might be much, much more important than, say, for example, accurate color. So yes, they might use something worse, but not because it's actually worse, just because they need something that's different from what you do. Boy, these are really hard to get out now. Make sure you do these at the beginning, guys. Be real careful with that. There we go. All right, so that's the GPU, and then I'm gonna need one more of them out for my SSD. And I'm gonna go, oh man, I'm gonna let you guys pick. So I've got two options for my SSD. It's a PCI Express SSD. It's I've got a 4X interface on it, and it can either go here or here. Here we're gonna be coming off the chipset at, So there's going to be a little bit more latency, not a ton. Here, we're going to be coming off the CPU, but it's going to split my PCI Express lanes 8 and 8. So I'm only going to have 8 to my RTX 2080. So I'll let you guys let me know which slot you want it in, and I'll remove that one. Where you want it?
Bottom seems to be the
Bottom seems to be the preference.
I would agree with bottom.
All right, they want it on the bottom. They want the full PCIe 16X to the GPU. All right, guys.
Choice.
All right, we're doing it.
Chat.
We're doing it. I actually probably would have done it the other way if left to my own devices. Yep. Because RTX 2080 doesn't need all those PCI Express lanes, especially not for gaming. There's some like computational workloads where it might benefit from the extra bandwidth, but it's not terribly important for what we're doing right now. All right, SSD first, then we'll put in the GPU. Let's open this puppy. This thing looks so good installed in the system. I have one in mine. I might upgrade again anyway, though, because they sent over an 8 terabyte one. Oh, yeah.
That's good looking if I've ever seen one for an SSD.
Oh, yeah. And the top looks real nice, and that's an RGB strip in there. Love it. What can I say? I would...
You would dye your beard RGB.
I would... No, I didn't say that. Those are not words that I said. Which screws should I be using? I will use these ones. Man, there need to be more matte black PCI backplates. That's a trend that needs to take over the whole industry. Yeah, instead of silver back here, that should totally be matte black. You can never have enough matte black, and then if you want color, you can always add color with lights. Wait, what is this? Oh, that's this thing. All right, GPU time, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Is my laptop just like hanging out in the frame there? Yeah, I guess so. Wait, what did I do with the GPU?
You took it out of the box already.
Oh, so I did. Ha! Okay, I found it. It's all good. Don't have a missing graphics card. Been a little awkward. Okay. Trying to keep myself reasonably organized here. Just trying to set a good example. There we go. Sweet. Now that is why I said I wasn't too concerned about case airflow hurting our GPU's temps too much. Yeah, this is about as thick boy as it gets. This is a very, very silly fan design. You can tell that they're basically making a statement here. See how the blades are kind of like cut off on them? Like they're not even thick because these other counter-rotating blades overlap them. Otherwise they would like hit each other. They're basically making a statement that goes, there is so much gosh darn metal on this graphics card that even a fan design with 3 fans, one of which is mostly useless, is still going to do a great job of keeping it cool. That's the statement. Holy smokes. Look at all the outputs on this thing. I don't think I've seen a graphics card with this many outputs. Oh, that's cool. That gives you the option to have either all the orange ones, so you can have your 3 display ports, 1 HDMI, and then that Ocu link or whatever, VR link or whatever they call that, that Type-C. Or you can not use these display ports and you can go straight HDMI out. Now, DisplayPort can be adapted to HDMI fairly easily and inexpensively, but just having that built right into the graphics card is nice. Oh yeah! Oh, look at that sag. Don't worry, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that sorted out.
It looks so slanted from the back.
I know. Don't worry, I got this, Brendan. I'm on it. I should just leave it like that. And then when people complain, it should be like, what, you tilted? Are you tilted? No, your graphics card's tilted.
And actually, I heard that the other day that that's a very common used poker term.
Tilted.
On tilt. When they're on tilt, when you're just like, when you lose like badly enough, especially if it's like to someone you lose to who has much less experience than you.
Is that the origin of tilted? Is it a poker term?
I'm not sure. It's definitely used a lot in poker.
Oh, I did not know that.
When you lose really badly, especially to someone who has it is
Right.
you start playing to win, and that makes you very careless. It makes you
Oh,
emotional. It makes you easy to read. It makes you lose a lot of money.
interesting. Well, I learned something today. Tilted.
There was a guy who played in that really like Hollywood secret businessman poker game that was run by I don't remember her name's Molly something, and she basically ran a game that was like super exclusive. And there was one guy in that game who lost to somebody with like basically no experience, who was running like who was only playing poker to run his business.
Right.
And in order to make it seem like he was just like a guy who had a lot of money, who's bad at poker, who just wants to play with everybody, he kept losing. But then he won a hand against someone who's really good.
And then they got careless.
And that guy he lost it. He lost his entire life savings.
Really?
He divorced his wife.
Oh, wow.
Lost his kids, I think, like wanted to be disowned by him. But he had like he lost almost I think $100 million or something like that.
What?
Yeah. He was
$100 million.
crazy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay.
He was playing to win and he just kept losing.
That's rough. Yep, I don't gamble.
Don't gamble, kids.
Yep. Especially don't gamble kids. You know, you bet your children and you lose them, you're not going to have them anymore, and it'll feel great for probably about 2 or 3 days. Then you'll miss them. All right. Okay. Well, I'm calling that good enough from the back. What do you think of it from the front?
People want you to flip the PSU.
They want me to flip the Oh, look at that. The text is upside down. Huh. How about that? Well, honestly, guys, here, I'll get you a better look at it, but there's not a ton of room for the power supply to breathe up here. Like it's about maybe that much between the top of this basement cover here and the fan intake. And there's no, like I don't have the case configured with an intake fan here. So there'd be no real fresh air going over there. I really don't want to do that. I'm sorry, guys. I think I'm going to leave it with the intake coming up through this filter and then exhausting right out the back. Yeah, sorry, guys. That's just the way it's going to have to be. I regret to inform you that your appeal has been denied. Yep. Sorry, everybody. All right. Daniel Kent87 asks, when you use that PCI Express slot on the bottom, what features of the motherboard would you be sharing bandwidth with? Typically, I don't think you would be sharing bandwidth with that between that slot and other features on the motherboard unless you've got a PLX chip that's splitting the lanes coming off of the chipset in order to provide those lanes. I believe most of them are designed to have 4 leftover lanes for that slot, the ones that do work like this. Don't quote me on that. I haven't looked at the block diagram of this motherboard or, in fact, 10th gen chips in general. It's not something that we really got into in our review anyway. So you'll have to forgive me for not being quite up on that. Parabellum Games says, this is a great question over on Twitch. Would you rather reset your PC password every time you log in or have to explain your browser history to your entire family?
So, what?
Okay. Would you rather reset your PC password every time you log in, which would be like one of those things where it only takes 30 seconds, but it feels like 30 minutes because it's so maddening, you know? It's so unnecessary. Or would you rather explain your entire PC browsing history, your browser history, to your entire family?
Just once?
Let's say you only have to do it once.
I'll do the history.
You'll do the history? I'm not doing the history. To my entire family, like my...
Oh, okay.
I still have plenty of living grandparents, you know? I don't need to explain that. Like, that's not necessary, you know? It's like...
See, I feel like I just have the benefit of my family wouldn't understand a lot of the things that I've been going through.
And it really depends on what you mean by explain.
Yeah.
Like, do I have to be like, you know, well... yeah, I'm done. Like, well, you know,
Give your grandmother a heart attack.
yeah, my poor grandma. She doesn't need that. She doesn't need that. I recently taught her to use Zoom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta call her again. Make sure she still remembers. I got her an iPad because they're old, right? So they've been locked down for.
I should have gotten my grandpa iPad. He's
Yeah.
stir crazy.
I got a man. I think it's a couple gens ago, but it was like $300 on Amazon or something. 350 Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you get one that's like a couple generations old, it was refurbed.
Yep.
They're just not that expensive anymore. Like an iPad used to be like, wow, you got an iPad. Wow. Now they're just they're like not much. Holy crap! They're the price of AirPods Pros, brand new.
Wow, yeah.
You can get like a refurbished, recertified iPad, like last gen or 2 gens ago iPad. Anyway, so man, it took an entire day to get them set up with it. They didn't know their Wi-Fi password, and like their Mac is so old that there's no browser support for it anymore. What? So when we went to try to reset the password, the TELUS portal that you log into on the Wi-Fi router didn't support their browser, and there was no login button. Everything else worked fine, but I'm like, Grandpa, there's got to be a login button. He's like, well, there isn't. And obviously, I can't just video chat with him to figure it out because they don't. Because that's what we're doing. And he's like, well, it's not there. Finally, I just drove there. I put on a mask, I put on gloves, I sanitized everything, because the last thing I want to do is like kill my grandparents, you know? And I went in and I was like, there's no login button. And he's like, that's what I told you. I'm like, okay, Grandpa, fair enough. And then I finally got everything set up. So they didn't know their TELUS password, so I had to like call TELUS on their behalf, which is always convenient. So finally, I got everything set up. I go to create a Zoom account for them. Zoom's email servers are down. So eventually, I spent a bunch of time troubleshooting that. I try to create a different account. I try to log in with my account. I'm like, oh no, it really is just their service down. And I'm not going to leave it incomplete. I need to stand there over them while they like use Zoom for the first time, because otherwise I know for sure I'm going to drive out there again. And so finally I was like, okay, oh, you can log in with Google. Well, they don't have a Gmail account. So I had to create a Gmail account. So it's just this whole ordeal.
You forget that the foundation of your internet presence is basically mostly set up for you at all times.
Yes. Yes.
It's a big deal. You have no foundation
whatsoever. You're starting over on everything. It actually takes a really long time. Someone says, Caesar says, why couldn't he just use TeamViewer instead of driving? What a wonderful question. They had a fresh iPad with nothing on it, and we couldn't get connected to the Wi-Fi, and their iMac was so old. It's like the old white one, right? With the giant chin, like the thick one, the Core 2 Duo one. That one was so old that almost no software ran on it when I finally did get over there. Thankfully, I thought to grab my laptop, because as I was walking out the door, I was like, oh, am I going to need my laptop? No, probably not, because they've got a computer. I'll just use their computer. It's a good thing I brought it. I managed to find this browser, Arctic Fox, that is still getting updates for that version of macOS. But that was it. Sorry, I should probably be telling you guys about some of the stuff that I'm opening up here. So hold on. The keyboard uses red switches. What else can I tell you about it? Oh, no, never mind. This uses FlareTech switches. Oh, that's cool. We actually did a full video about optical switches. Basically, instead of using contact points, like metal contact points in the switch, it uses a light beam that gets broken. So it can still wear out like mechanically, but the actual activation mechanism should have no wear whatsoever, and in theory can be more responsive because it's light-based. So that's the keyboard right here. And then for our mouse, of course, naturally it features RGB. And our mouse is a, I love that, one of the 3 features right on the front. You got your 16.7 million color RGB, ladies and gentlemen. 16,000 DPI sensitivity, on-the-fly adjustments. I'd call this like a moderate weight palm grip style of mouse. Hold on a second, I'll get you a better look at that. It's kind of, it's maybe not one of those ones that I'd be like, oh yeah, this is what all the hyper competitive guys are going to be using, but it's like a comfort. I describe that as a comfort mouse. Ooh, real Teflon in the feet pads. Lots of brands kind of dance around that. They'll be like, oh yeah, we've got non-slip pads. But when you actually source it from, oh, what's their face? Who is it that owns Teflon? I don't think it's 3M, is it?
I don't know.
I don't remember. It's one of those like,
Gigantic, they own everything.
yeah.
They make everything.
What's the one that starts with a D again? Shoot, I can't remember. I'm sure chat's letting me know in the meantime here. Let's get our mouse pad opened up. DuPont, it might be DuPont. I don't have a knife. Please tell me there's a knife. There's no knife.
Well-equipped workshop.
Yeah. Okay, it needs a little bit of help. It's fine, I got a screwdriver. I'll just poke the seal with that. Nope, that's not working very well. No, I got this. Oh, you know what? I think I'm gonna put a knife back on my keychain.
Oh, right, because you're not going to travel for a while.
Yeah, I don't travel anymore, so who cares? That was the reason. I kept losing my my Spyderco ladybugs. Or ladybug or bug? I think they renamed it at some point. I kept losing my Spyderco bugs in the airport because they would confiscate them from me when I forgot to take them out of my off my keychain. Which was not every time, but I have lost like at least 5 of them. So that got real old real fast because they're not even that cheap. I really like it. It's a really nice little knife. Good opening mechanism on it. It stays nice and sharp for a long time. Really small. DuPont in 1945 patented the chemical and registered under the trademark Teflon, touting it as the most slippery material in existence. There you go. So it is DuPont.
Oh, someone looked it up.
Yep. Thank you, Floatplane Chat. Okay. Wow. We're ready to unbox the monitor that, surprise, surprise, for those of you who are just coming to the stream now, we are going to be giving away. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought I was on the other. Thought I was on the other camera there. That's okay. Minor details. Here. Oh, it is. Ooh, it's VESA Display HDR certified. I don't know to what level though. It doesn't actually say. 2560 by 1440, 165 hertz, 1 millisecond response time, curved display, 32 inches. I remember when 30-inch monitors were like, yeah, the only place that you could even see one if you were a mere mortal, you know, with human means of purchasing things, was to go to the Apple store and check out their cinema display, because Dell didn't have any in-store presence or anything. It was only Dell and Apple, if I recall correctly, that had those 30-inch monstrous 2560 by 1600 displays. I would just go to the university bookstore sometimes just to look at it. Now it's like, yeah, 32-inch gaming monitor for gamers? Heck yeah, we got you covered. All right, pop this open. If I had to guess, I would say this is going to be Display HDR 400 because it doesn't look thick enough to have full array local dimming, which until we're using self-emissive display technology like OLED or self-emissive quantum dot or something like that, is not really possible to do this thin for the time being. So that's what I'm guessing. You guys can let me know if I'm wrong. People are saying HDR 400. So that basically means you're going to be able to accept an HDR signal. And in some cases, the HDR master will look better than the SDR color mastering. But you're not going to be getting the full HDR experience that you might on an OLED TV or 1000 nit peak brightness television or something like that. External power. Where's my brick? There we go. People are like, the screen's bent. Is it okay? Yeah, it's okay. That's intentional. So curved screens kind of died out for TVs, and probably rightly so. I liked them for certain applications, not for everything. But if you're sitting quite close and you don't expect to be, sharing the experience with anyone else, I think a curved display was a pretty darn good experience. Anyway, that's dead because most people don't just watch TV by themselves and stuff like that. But for near field displays, I think curved absolutely still has a place. Because the whole idea behind it is that you're looking kind of more straight on to the display, like to the pixels themselves, as you kind of turn your head a little bit. And so when you've got something that's really far away from you, that's tough, because looking from the edge to the edge, unless it's movie theater sized, like those will be curved a lot of the time. So unless something is like movie theater sized, it doesn't make sense, because even like a 65-inch TV is like, what, maybe 10 degrees of your field of vision, depending how far it is, maybe 15, maybe, yeah, what is this even? Yeah, like 10 or 15 degrees. Whereas with a monitor, if it's this close, it could easily be 45, 55 degrees of your field of vision. So having it be curved can make sense. It's just a personal preference thing. Some people don't like it. Some people love it. Oops, that's an HDMI connection. Let's get that display port plugged in. Boom! All right. All these accessories can go back in the box. Oh, not these ones. I am going to need the feet. What's up, Brandon? Check and focus? Brandon had his focus checking face on. I could tell, because he goes like this. Corona XD, I do not always say HDR 1000 or bust. In fact, I did a video recently comparing HDR 400, 600, 1000, and did I have an SDR display? I actually can't remember if I had an SDR display mixed in there as well. And what I said was that, if I recall correctly, my conclusion was basically that HDR 600 is sort of a weird in-between. And that in a lot of cases, it's going to come down to how the content is mastered, whether the HDR version is going to look better or the SDR version is going to look better when it comes to the lower HDR certifications. It's only if you go all the way up to HDR 1000 that I think there's a clear case to be made for always using the HDR version, because it will look better as long as it's been sort of remotely decently mastered. Hokage 143. Is there any reason that HDR 400 even exists? I mean, what it does is it allows the display to at least interpret the signal. I mean, the fact that your video stream contains all that metadata that can, hold on a second. Oh, never mind, this screws in from the back and I need these screws. I'm gonna put this back down. I mean, just having the ability to interpret that metadata means that if the HDR version does look notably better, then at least you have the option to use it. There just will be cases where your display won't be able to represent it well enough that it even looks better than SDR. So I guess it just comes down to the choice. At least you have it. I mean, it would be easy for me to just say, because marketing, and drop the mic, but there's sort of bigger forces at play. I'm glad that the standard exists just to put more HDR displays in the hands of people so that there's more incentive for, software makers like Microsoft to work on their HDR support, for game makers to build HDR versions of their games. The more industry adoption there is, the more content you'll see, the more content there is, the more hardware you'll see, the more hardware you see, the more prices will come down. It's just sort of a necessary stepping stone. So it's not as simple as just like, because marketing, lol, duh. But yeah, no, it is not the full HDR experience. With that said, HDR 1000 is not the full HDR experience. There isn't really like a practical limit right now with the display technology that currently exists to how HDR we could get. Like what's that, what's it called? Quasar or whatever, that Dolby Pulsar. The Dolby Pulsar I think can do, was it 4,000 nits? And I think there's a 10,000 nit display that exists. In the future, in a perfect world, you wouldn't just master on that. You would have those displays be available to the general consumer so they could see the content the way that it was originally intended to be presented. We're not there yet. So when I say, you know, real HDR experience, I mean, there's nothing on the market that can even reproduce what many Hollywood films are being mastered at. So there is no real HDR experience. But there is a big difference between HDR 1000 and HDR 400 or 600 from my experience. Okay, should we fire it up? What do you think? Does it work, Brandon?
Yeah.
Really?
First try.
I like your confidence. I'm not sure if I believe in your confidence.
Needs a win.
When I need a, I do need a win today, Brandon. I need a win today. I had a really frustrating night last night too. A bunch of stuff was not working for me. And what it turned out was it was one of those things where I was so like frustrated that I ended up creating my own problems. Yeah. I recrimped this, this cable that I was trying to run for another security camera 7 times, I think. 7 times at least. 7 or 8 times, I don't remember, it was a lot. I recrimped it so many times, and finally Yvonne was like, do you want me to try one? And I'm like, well, you don't know anything about doing this. She's like, well, I can follow instructions. So she followed instructions, she did it. It still didn't work. And so I was like, okay, hey, you know, thanks, good effort. I really appreciated you trying to help me, but I guess I'll go back to just doing it over and over and over and over again. Finally, you know, she's still sitting there plugging away, trying to help me out. And she goes and she looks at all the connectors that I've been cutting off, and she goes, like, 60% of these are wired backwards. Instead of having the orange ones on the left, I had the brown ones on the left for just over half of them. And the reason I figured out is that the way that I was oriented, I don't have a ton of experience terminating Ethernet cables. And even then though, like I've done plenty of successful runs up until last night. Yeah. So I was so frustrated. I didn't understand why it wasn't working. I didn't think it was a bad run of cable. But it wouldn't work. The camera would work with a different cable. Like I had narrowed it down to, I needed to just keep recrimping these ends until it worked. And I was just so, I mean, yesterday was a really frustrating day. I was so frustrated and so like angry that I just kept doing it wrong over and over and over again, which made me more frustrated and more mad.
Sounds like you were on tilt.
I was on tilt, I know, right? Totally tilted.
It's not gambling.
All right, let's fire this thing up. See if we're getting a win here. Yeah, sure. Oh yeah, you can go pretty wide from that thing. Hey, okay, that's great. Here we go. Ready? Okay. Oh man, how convenient is that, having like a staff to, you know, help me rearrange things? Like the shot, not the computer. I'm doing that. Okay, are we RGB enough, ladies and gentlemen? What do you think? We RGB enough? Is that enough RGB? Look at that screen. Look at that screen on the CPU cooler. Look at how it's sideways. Dang it. I'm pretty sure we can reconfigure that. That's pretty cool. Where's my display out though? I actually don't think the monitor is powered on, so give me a sec here. I'm just gonna find the power button. Brant. I'm pretty sure we're still good. I'm confident, Brandon.
Yeah.
I believe in me because you believed in me. Oh, yeah, there's your problem. See, and because I'm not all angry and I'm thinking straight, I can just look at things like, oh, the other end of the monitor is unplugged. See, this monitor requires 3 connections.
Frustration solves no problem.
One between the DC brick and the monitor, one between the DC brick and the AC cord, and one between the AC cord and the wall. So that was that third one that I overlooked there. See, but I'm fine. I'm fine.
Hey.
Oh wow, we cheated. Aw, thank you. Whoever did this is great. This must have been Anthony. I think Anthony prepped this. He preloaded Windows on it for me. I even had a Windows install USB in my pocket. I was like ready to rock, boys. But look at that. He went and made it all orange and black for me and everything. See, we got their RGB Fusion software installed and all that. So the only thing that I need to do then is figure out how to reorient the text on the... Oh, apparently we don't have a graphics driver. Oh, no, we do have a driver. Look at that. Isn't Anthony wonderful? I love having a well-trained and competent staff. It just really does make my life better. I've missed you guys. I really have.
Yeah, going back to the old YouTube life is not
Nope,
long term.
it's not necessary, you know? I actually don't see how to reorient it. Do you see any obvious way to reorient that? I can change the color. Let's get that done right away. Oh, no, hold on. Let's check the color of these ones first. So these are 255, 33. Oh, okay, so FF2 100. Okay. Wait, is that all right? Apply? Dang it. So 255, wait. Okay, yeah, red 255, green 33. Okay, let's do that. 255, no block. Green 33. Maybe someone will chime in the comments.
Yeah, I'm looking for if anyone knows.
Okay, I appear to be doing this wrong somehow. Oh, you just have to drag it around. Oh, okay. Dang it. Green 33. Okay, that's close enough. Yep. There we go. Okay, so that's done. Anyone got any hints?
Doesn't seem like it.
Reorienting cooler display might be in the BIOS. Oh, I don't think so. It's definitely not going to be there. Freebo says in before you can't change it. No way. We got to be able to change it.
Rotate that tower.
Okay, yeah, new solution, guys. Here we go. There. Now it's right side up. Plonk. If all the cables weren't there, I'd consider it. What's enthusiast mode 2? Oh, that's just kind of a cool color scheme, but I still don't see how to reorient it. You guys are going to make me Google it, aren't you? All right, fine. Oh. Wow, that is a very dark mode browser window there. It seems like the rendering's kind of broken. Let's give it a quick restart. We did install some new hardware and it had to load up the graphics driver and stuff. People say you can't with iQ. It's terrible. Yeah, but this isn't iQ. This is Gigabyte's software. Physically rotate. Shut up, you guys. Wait, Teddyland says just checked. You can't do it in software. No. People are saying AORUS engine. Okay, so we need AORUS engine. So that's RGB Fusion 2.0. We just need to go get AORUS engine. Also, we need our browser to work. Okay, we're going to Edge, boys. Oh shoot, I don't have LAN drivers. Okay, so Anthony mostly set this up for me. Oh wait, no, yeah. Let's just make sure that's plugged in all the way. That's interesting. That cable worked for me earlier today. I don't believe that it is this cable being broken. I don't buy it. Dang it. Well, this is where things start to go wrong, Brandon. Why is that not picking up? You know what? It's probably less work for me at this point to just jump on the Wi-Fi. I think I'm going to do that. Ooh, got some stickers. Got some stickers, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, Gigabyte stickers. Oh yeah, if you like more than stickers, then go check out the link in the video description. We're going to be giving away one of these monitors. It's IPS, 165 hertz, curved, 32 inches. It's got that FreeSync. Oh, we'll find out soon enough. All right, there we go. Yeah. All right, we're gonna get the AORUS. Oh, nice, that's magnetic. That's pretty cool. Look at that. Doesn't move around. I hate the way these things move around when they don't have a magnet on them. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna need you to kind of look somewhere else for a little bit there, Brandon. Okay. Got to get logged into the Wi-Fi. Cool. And I think we're good. Yep, we good. Oops, got one too many O's in there. Oh wow. Uh-oh, where are we going? Where are we going? Oh, don't go to Google with too many O's there.
Google doesn't know none other than me. What?
Oh wow. All right. Gigabyte utilities.
Ooh, can you try to write this down a little longer?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, that's a funny thing, guys. For filming, you don't actually want your monitor to be super bright. Picture, display. What is the difference between picture and display? Okay, this is pretty easy to use. It has nipple navigation, which is my personal favorite. Well, what? It's intuitive to use. You just kind of wiggle wobble it around from the back there. It's good. Okay, Gigabyte utilities. RGB Fusion. RGB Fusion. Where is AORUS Engine? No, that's their graphics utility, guys. Software AORUS Engine. Oh, really? No, I don't buy that. There's no way that's the solution to this problem. And of course, my laptop battery just died. You have got to be kidding me.
Styrofoam in your hair.
The styrofoam in my hair is the least of my concerns right now, Brandon Lee. Yeah, I don't. Okay. Thanks, Ed. Yeah, I don't think AORUS Engine is going to be able to do this for us.
So there really is no way to do it?
Let's go back to RGB Fusion. No, there's got to be a way to do it. There's no way. Because everything else shows up in here like great. You just, wait, hold on, I saw a thing there. What's this? Oh no, that's nothing, that's just a highlight thing. Profiles, wait, we can add a profile. Oh, no, that's just the lighting again. There's gotta be a way to do it. This is driving me nuts. Should I physically rotate it?
Yes.
You want me to physically rotate it? Really?
In the system?
Yeah.
Like unscrew it?
Yeah. Like, is that what you want me to do? Or should I just leave it sideways? What will tilt them more? A tilted logo or like live CPU cooler surgery? Hello, laptop.
Chat, what do you guys think?
Anytime now.
Should he turn it? What does chat think? Turn it?
I don't know. I can't monitor chat because my laptop turned off and won't turn back on.
Flip it. No, leave it. Turn it live.
Turn it live.
Live surgery. Live
Whoa.
surgery. I think people want you to turn it.
How quickly could we do that?
I don't know.
I mean, theoretically, pretty quick, I guess, right?
Yep, live surgery seems to be.
Oh man, why do you guys push me to do these things? I mean, the good news is, as live surgeries go, this is a relatively non-dangerous one.
It's like, bye CPU.
No, the CPU will be fine. No thermal throttle. It's all good. And also, look at this. I got a backplate on this graphics card. It's like a convenient little shelf. It's a graphics shelf. It's fine. To be clear, guys, I'm not recommending, and this build, which is sponsored by AORUS, they're in no way, AORUS is in no way condoning my behavior right now.
Oh my God, just turn off the computer.
No, it's fine. We just need to get this logo flipped. It's a minor procedure. Minor procedure. Okay, see, we've got some cooling on the CPU right now. See, I'm holding it in place. Okay, and then all we need to do is give it the old flippy flip there, see? And that's back on there now, okay? Look, guys, you only live once, okay?
You need to do the software, right?
I can't find it in the software.
AORUS engine?
AORUS Engine, that's their graphics software.
Apparently that's pretty good.
Well, apparently it's already right side up, Jake.
Already did this.
So we've got the solution. Jake says you can do it in a different AORUS Engine software. But that doesn't matter because it's done now. See? See? That wasn't so bad. You guys are all good. You got this. There we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Very nice. See? Smooth. Smooth operation. I'm a smooth operator. Oh yeah. And see, look. Here, come on over here. See? You guys saw it here first. Live CPU cooler surgery. Open heart. Open heart. Just gotta pull up some of this extra slack that I've got on the wires here now. There we go. Kind of bumping against the RAM now a little bit. Gotta de-bumpify it a little bit here. Where's that at? Yeah, there we go. Out. It's fine. That's a good noise. That's the like, hey, you know, good job on that surgery noise. That's what the motherboard's saying to me right now. You know, I feel so much better now. Oh, thanks, Doc. There you go. Okay, cool. Hey, Gigabyte is never sponsoring a build again. All right. Hey, I'm super happy with this though. Look at this system. All right. This program will be closed and lighting effects will no longer be controlled. Oh, no. Okay, let's do that. There we go. All right. Hey. Okay, why is my laptop not turning? Oh, there it goes. Okay, good. I got to get back in my chat so I know what's going on. Here we go. So enough of this. Let's fire up Doom Eternal. Let's see if this thing games. Yes, this is in fact a FreeSync display. And interesting, G-Sync kicked in by default. So is this a G-Sync? Oh man, I can never remember the branding. There's like their ultimate, and then they're certified, and then there's like G-Sync compatible. Let's double check. G32QC. QC G-Sync. G-Sync compatible. Nice. Love it. LTT benchmark. Oh, can you look away from the keyboard for a little bit? Let's see if I still remember that password. Oh yeah. Go Linus. And I'm back in the chat. Yes. Forming first time setup. You know, I still have never played a Red Dead Redemption game.
Neither have I.
Really?
Yeah.
They're supposed to be just like
Amazing.
phenomenal.
Yeah. Never played them.
Did the first one ever come out for PC?
I think so.
It was during my like gaming drought, like when I had young children, so it was like not really
I just remember
a thing for me.
Wow, I remember when the first one came out, how big a deal it was, and how obsessed everyone I knew was with it.
One of these days. One of these days.
Apparently, it was only on Xbox.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, I should go through some super chats. Linus, please say hi to my wife, Miku. Sup, my wife, Miku? Oh, awkward. Hey, jokes. What else we got here? Thanks, Omega 247. I have no idea what unit of currency ZAR is, but thank you. Thanks, Josui. Mr. Infernus Games asks, what's better? I need to know, an i9-9900K or a Ryzen 7 3700X? One is not really better or worse than the other. They are different. If you are strictly speaking after gaming performance, the 9900K will outperform it. If you're looking to do other stuff as well, wait, 3700K, those aren't even price comparable. 3700K, or 3700X rather. Hold on a second. Blah, blah, blah.
Almost.
Yeah, we're just about done.
Here's mine. Pretty smooth.
Yeah, you're talking about processors that have like a $200 price difference. Of course the 9900K is better. What are you doing? It's not comparable. Yes.
Yes?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess so. About 20 minutes.
But yeah, like it's not a better value. So you got to make sure you're asking the right questions. Otherwise, it's hard for me to give you the right answers. CLM Heat says, can we get a blooper reel of all the times Linus has dropped something? That would be impossible.
I think Taryn has something close.
Does he really?
I don't know.
I guess that doesn't surprise me that much. It is recommended no, I don't want to do battle mode. I just want to like, what is master levels? Why is mission select not an option? Dang it, do we not have cloud saves for this game? Oh, well this'll do. Oh, what's the glory kill button? Oh, it's E. There we go. Da-da-da. So if there was any doubt that this machine was going to chew through Doom Eternal, we can lay that to rest. And if there was any doubt that Doom Eternal was going to chew through me, we can lay that to rest as well. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Wow, they have really stepped up the like destructive, or like the destruction on the enemies. That's cool. You can like blow pieces off of them now. I don't remember that from Doom. What are you up to? Look at that, I blew his arm off. That's how you can tell I'm a bad shot. Wait, I thought I blew that arm off. Did I just break the arm that I had already blown off? Oh,
They're commenting that the cooler says 0 degrees.
hey, this is a cool computer, kids. I know. What the heck is this? Okay, well, I stabbed it in the eye, whatever it was. It's dead now. This game is hard. It's probably Alex who set it up then. Because like he would have just cranked it to the maximum difficulty. He plays this game all the time, and then he would have like made fun of me for being bad at it. Okay, some of us don't play this game all the time. Alex Clark. Okay, I have a chainsaw. Well, that's cool. Handy.
Someone's asking how you enter into the monitor giveaway.
Oh, I actually don't know the details of the monitor giveaway. I was just kept telling people to look at the link in the video description. So do I have to do something specific to, or wait, they asked how to enter? Yeah. Oh yeah, check out the link in the video description. Oh shoot, he hit me. That guy hit me. Looked a little soft. Oh, that's better. That is crispy crunchy now. What do I do here? Oh, okay, you just blow a hole in the thing. Neat. Man, I love high refresh rate displays with G-Sync. Yes, there might be a little bit of additional latency for those competitive players out there, but in terms of just like a smooth, hanging out, blowing holes and stuff gaming experience, it's pretty great. And you too could be enjoying this monitor if you just check out the giveaway details at the link in the video description. On YouTube. Oh, did I not put it in the other ones? Oh, dang it. Oh, no, the Twitch one won't have it. I don't think there is like a video description on Twitch. I don't know where to go. What do I do now? This is my problem with games. I just I'm like killing stuff, and then I'm like, oh, now what happens? If I had to guess, I'd say somewhere in the 95 to 115 range. Unfortunately, I don't actually have frame view installed on here, I don't think. Oh, I do have GeForce experience though, so that'll give me a frame rate. Oh, of course. Do you mind tilting up so I can log into stupid... Oh wait, no, I'm good. Okay, yeah, let me just change my in-game overlay settings. Hey, there we go. Let's see how close I was. I was not close. It's 150 frames per second, 160? All right, well there you go, guys. Frame rates are pretty good. Seems like we did okay building a gaming PC today. Wow, why did I don't know. It would have looked worse if I had guessed really high and it had not been high, because then people would have been like, shill. So I'm glad that I guessed lower. It looks really smooth, like I knew it wasn't 60. For me, though, the difference between like 110 and 150 is not that noticeable. As you guys, oh, that's why there was that instructional thing.
Zebra wall climb, yeah, climb the wall.
There we go. As you guys saw in the How Much Does FPS Matter video that we did, where we collaborated with Shroud, Corey, and Mr. Grims, it makes a difference at a lower level, but it's not necessarily like the way it makes a difference if you're a pro. Or a former pro. Yeah, you heard me, Michael. Oh, come on. Not that I should be casting shade at him. Clearly, I do not have the skills. I have not played enough Doom. Like, I clearly need to play this game more. It's just a total, old school style FPS total blast. It's too bad about all the DRM issues that they've had.
I've also never played Doom.
Really?
Can you tell I'm a gamer? Not.
Well, you have game franchises that you play, and I would say no. I would say some of them firmly qualify as like hardcore styles of games, just different ones. Ba, ba, ba. I guess I should probably like get back to work at some point. Hey,
Hey, this is fun.
this is fun. It's gaming. It's fun. I can't believe how much stuff Gigabyte makes now. Almost everything in the system, almost literally everything in the system is made by Gigabyte under their AORUS brand. Just trying to think, what isn't? CPU, that's it. Quite literally everything else. Mouse pad, keyboard, case, power supply, graphics card, SSD, RAM, cooler, motherboard, fans, the other part of the cooler. All Gigabyte AORUS. Let's get through a couple more super chats and then we'll call that good. That was Doom Eternal running at 150 to 180 FPS at 1440p. Butter smooth, looks great, feels great. Was S says, good content, you helped me understand PC hardware. Oh yeah, if you guys are looking to build a machine just like this one, we've got all the parts linked in the video description. The only ones that don't have specific links, I think, are the CPU. So we're using the 10900K and the GPU. It's just a link to AORUS GPUs. So this is their 2080 Super, and I'm trying to remember which variant of it is. It's the N208SA, oh, sorry, excuse me, GV-N208S AORUS-8GC. Steven says, I love how almost all the hosts started with a few rough videos where they're clearly uncomfortable while they gain confidence and let their personality show. Is this process discussed internally? Absolutely. I mean, Brandon, you and I have had meetings about on camera and all that stuff. Yeah. Yes, so the one who's just trying to think of like if there's anyone who hasn't had a ton of coaching yet and who has been on camera. Colin hasn't really had much in the way of coaching, but I like to kind of see where people are at and get a baseline. So he's done a couple of short circuits, and then I actually have arranged with him to go watch them together, talk about how to improve. I mean, we take a lot of pride at Linus Media Group in our in the way that we kind of build up our own talent. You know, we're not just like a media company that like tries to poach other people's talent and like you know, try to replicate someone else's success by just kind of stealing what they're doing. You know, we've kind of made our own way of doing things over the years, for better or for worse. Sometimes there's been stumbles. Big Boss Man 0816 says, I'm not sure if this has been answered on screen, but what does Yvonne think of the beard? More importantly, what do you guys think of the beard? LTTstore.com. Okay, if you want to vote for clean face for the rest of the year, grab the clean shirt. If you want to vote for bearded face for the rest of the year, grab the beard shirt. Grattan says, don't forget your ESD strap. I did, sorry, my Livestrong bracelet was at home. I'm sorry, I've just got time for a couple more because I've got to shoot one more video and then I got to go do WAN show. Alexander says, just built my first PC with no help, but Linus, other than Linus, so I just want to take this opportunity to say thanks. Hey, no problem, Alexander. Pierre says, here's the money I got refunded from my purchases on LTTstore.com. Can't wait to get my something water bottle. Why is this cut off? It's really annoying. Stealth hoodie and water bottle. Very nice. What GPU can you recommend for a Plex server for hardware transcoding? Oh, shoot. There's this channel. I can't remember what it's called. They've done just like the most in-depth Plex transcoding like GPU crap that I've seen on the internet. Every time I need to make a change to my Plex configuration, I just go look at their videos, so I would recommend you do the same thing. Geraldo, no problem, buddy. Glad things are starting to get better over in Barcelona there. I was informed recently that you're supposed to say Barcelona.
Really?
Yeah, I know, right?
Wow.
Nick says, what's with your obsession with everything pink? Asking for a friend. And is your AO still 0 degrees Celsius? Oh yeah, 0 degrees all the way, suckers. We cool up in this biz. I don't have an obsession with pink. I just, it's cool. Like, is that not a cool looking laptop? Got that pink carbon fiber. Just all you got to do to get pink carbon fiber from dbrand is you just got to message them, be like, Linus sent me. He said that, you guys were considering bringing back the pink carbon fiber and that I should message you. I want the pink carbon fiber. And
Discontinue the pink carbon fiber?
I'm sure they'd be happy to bring it back for you guys. They love the pink carbon fiber over there. Just you tell them I said that. Tell them Linus was like, hey, he was like, yeah, the dbrand guys, they love the pink carbon fiber. They just were worried there wasn't enough demand. Just show them the demand. They want it. They want to have the pink carbon fiber. And I want to say thank you to you guys for tuning in to this live build stream. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I definitely had some fun. This is a nice looking machine. There's some things about the case that I would say are a little bit on the bare bones side, but you cannot fault the finished product. That is a great looking machine and very low effort. No wasted space. Very, very happy with the result. So big shout out to you guys for watching again. Shout out to AORUS by Gigabyte for sponsoring today's video. And I will see you guys on the WAN show in 45 minutes. I'm probably going to be late. Let's be realistic. I have to shoot a thing and then I have to drive home. Then I have to do a test call with Luke. Then we'll go live. So
Good luck.
yeah. I gotta kill the stream. See if I can figure out how to do this. Yes, here we go.
Still says 0 degrees.